Hey, thanks for checking out this video. In this video, I'm going to be talking about the 3 types of closes you can use to advance the sales process with property management companies and HOAs for home service businesses. Hi, my name is Raleigh from PMHOA.pro, and we help home service companies build profitable and long-term relationships with property management companies and HOAs. Link is in the description for more information. In this video, what I want to talk about is the type of closes that you could use. So if you haven't seen my video, if you didn't watch my video on why you need a presentation, please watch that. It's very important. But I want to cut to the chase here. Maybe you don't have time to watch my first video, so let me get into the point of the types of closes you could make with property management companies and HOAs. And frankly, you don't need a presentation to do these closes. It's very important that you do have a presentation, but these closes can happen on the phone, they could happen email, they could happen in person, text message, doesn't matter. Here's the type of closes you need. Number one, the easiest type of close you can get is the vendor list addition. Now people say, well, Raleigh, the vendor list addition, why do you, that doesn't mean anything to me. That's just paperwork. That's not true. Okay, first of all, you have to think of it this way. There's steps to this, okay? We're dealing with people who have potentially hundreds of properties, thousands of properties. There's steps to this. You can't just expect to go in there guns blazing and demanding that they give you all their commercial properties to manage or to work on. It's not going to happen that way. There's baby steps that you have to go through. You're playing by their rules to some degree. Now, down the road, yeah, it could be a 50-50 thing, but really you're applying to work with them. You have to kind of humble out and do it the way they want to do it. And so to get on their vendor list, people think that that's an easy process, and in a way it's the easiest close, but it certainly takes work to even identify who those companies are that have vendor lists that you need to get on. So it might be that, let's say you live in like Chicago, there's 1,000 property management companies, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 contacts that you have on a list. Just to identify who those people are is work. Then not to mention the work it takes to get them on the phone, send an email, get them on the phone, get those documents over back and forth. That's a process just to get on the vendor list. And vendor list is just the first close, right? So it's really a lot of work even to get on the vendor list. And what it does, most importantly, is that it gives you some authority in following up with the customer. Because, a vendor list, they have your W-9, they have your workers' comp, your liability insurance, all those confidential documents, maybe you've inked something, and that gives you some authority over the phone. So now when you call back, if your sales guys call back, you have some authority. You can follow up. The tone of the conversation should change. You're not cold calling. They have your documentation. It gives you some push on the phone, okay? So it's a very important part of the closing sequence. I really do not take it for granted, and I suggest you do not either. Okay, the next type of close is the appointment. Of course, this is what everyone wants. They want boots on the ground. They want guys out in the field, and that's true. We all want that. This is the more appointments that you get, the more money in your cash register, the more opportunities to build longer-term relationships with people to prove yourself. Now, you can't get there unless you have a vendor list addition, typically, because an appointment is going to require this anyways. Most of the time, 9 times out of 10, they're going to need that documentation over before you could even get boots on the ground. So an appointment/bid is what we're looking for, right? But let's not underestimate the power of being on their vendor list first. Now here's the close that no one talks about, which is something that is part of our sequence of events. We call it the PMHOA.pro sequence. It's something that, I give it charitably, but it is a colleague referral. Okay, so here's the deal. A lot of companies have multiple people with individual relationships with vendors. You would think that, one company, they only have one roofer that they work with, they only have one HVAC, one plumber, one pest. It's not true. You're looking at a lot of times companies within companies. What that means is that each contact at the company can potentially have different relationships with vendors, people they prefer over others. It's just the way it is. Sometimes you might have people migrating around too. There's a lot of turnover at property management companies. There's a lot of people moving around. Sometimes it's the 3rd or 4th career they've had, these property managers. So that means that, let's say one person they have these relationships with contractors, and then they get hired somewhere else, they bring those relationships with them. That's why you need multiple hooks at a property management company, and you do that with a close known as the colleague referral. basically you have one hook and then you horizontally space that out and ask, hey, is there anyone there that you could put us in touch with that also would be beneficial for them to hear about us as well. Something as simple as that can lead to another interaction with someone there. And frankly, the way we do our service on our sales process is that we find everyone at the company ahead of time. So before we even start a campaign, I can see that this company has 15 employees, 10 of them are property managers, there's one maintenance coordinator. Then I know that I'm going to have to hit all these people eventually, because until I know with certainty that they only use one or two vendors across the whole company, I'm going to make the assumption that they all have individual relationships. And that's a smart way to proceed, okay? Because you want to get as much as you can per company. You want to have multiple hooks. But anyways, if you're interested in building relationships with property management companies, HOAs in your neck of the woods, we have a particular sequence that we use. We're a sales team, a contracted sales team. We have what's called a PMHOA.pro sequence, and we can help everyone in home services, roofers, HVAC, pest control, contractors, everything you see here. More information is in the description, and if you'd like to book a demo, that's there as well. Thank you for watching this video.